basically, from the very get-go, you've been having to memorize your nouns with der, die, or das attached to it. And we kind of warned you that there was a reason for this. And basically, once we got to the accusative direct object case, we realized, oh, there is, insofar as that the masculine changes up a bit once we get into, with our der becomes den. But once we get to the dative, everything changes. And so if you look at your der, die, and das, masculine der becomes den in the accusative, but now in the dative it's dem, D-E-M. The neuter is actually now going to, again, and neuter is actually going to be identical to, and I'm sorry, I'm looking at the nominative is wrong there up top, but neuter is going to go on to be identical to the masculine vowel. So dem, feminine becomes der, plural becomes den. So here's an overview of just all of your cases. So if we have der Rock, ein Rock, mein Rock, the skirt. So der Rock ist rot, the skirt is red. Ich kaufe den Rock, I'm going to buy the skirt. Ich kaufe meiner Mutter den Rock. I'm going to buy that skirt for my mother. And we looked also last week already at interrogative pronouns. So that's wer and wen that we've learned so far. Wer asking for who in the nominative, the subject. Wen asking for the direct object, the whom. And finally, we now have wem, which asks for a dative, so for whom. And so examples in the nominative, wer arbeitet als Physiotherapeutin, who works as a physiotherapist. In the accusative, wen besucht Nina in Salzburg? Whom does Nina visit in Salzburg? In the dative, wem schenkst du das Auto? Whom are you giving the car? Okay, so some example sentences to work you through this. So, ich kaufe den Pulli. Ich kaufe einen Pulli. This, we simply have your subject, the nominative, ich, and den Pulli, einen Pulli as your direct object, the accusative. Ich kaufe das Buch. Now, what about if we wanted to add in the dative? So, ich kaufe meinem Bruder den Pulli. I am buying the sweater for my brother. My brother's masculine, hence the em ending on mein. Ich kaufe meinem Bruder den Pulli. Same thing if I'm buying a book for my kid. Ich kaufe meinem Kind das Buch. Both masculine and neuter become dem, and the ein words become meinem and einem and meinem. Okay. With that in mind, we're really quickly going to review the exercise that we ended things with last class period, and that kind of threw people off a little bit. And basically, I'm hoping that if we go through it, you'll realize that it's really not all that awful, and it makes a little bit more sense. And again, if you were not here in class on Wednesday, you may wish to pause and try and see if you can figure out how to answer these questions. In each case, you're writing a question, and then you're also writing a response. And then you may want to go back into looking at the answers. But basically, as your examples, you're looking at buying people holiday presents, and you're asking, wem schenkst du das Parfum? Who are you buying that perfume for? And you tell them, ich schenke es meiner Mutter. I'm buying it for my mother. The S is your pronoun referring back to das Parfum. So just like in English, I'm buying it. Meiner Mutter, that's your dative for my mother. So Nummer 1, we have die Geldtasche. And so how do we ask, whom are you buying the wallet for? Wem schenkst du die Geldtasche? So wem schenkst du die Geldtasche? And you're going to respond, ich schenke sie meinem Vater. With das Armband, we have wem schenkst du das Armband? Ich schenke es meiner Schwester. Es, because it's das Armband. Meiner Schwester, because der Schwester for dative feminine. Wem schenkst du den Pullover? Ich schenke ihn meinem Bruder. The reason I have den and ihn underlined is, if you remember, in the accusative, in the direct object, it was just the masculine where you had to worry about changes, and hence, since that pullover is the object of the sentence, it's den Pullover, which means also when we refer back to it, we have to refer back to it as ihn as opposed to er. And lastly, wem schenkst du die Weingläser? Ich schenke sie meinen Großeltern. Again, this was just reviewing what we already went over, but it allows us to jump into doing some brand new exercises together right now. So, the thing you're probably all already dreading, which is personal pronouns. As an upfront, I know personal pronouns are hard. They do require a lot of memorization. I strongly recommend that you make flashcards to help you memorize them. Basically, pronouns are always going to be a pretty huge aspect of any test. So if you are at all shaky on your nominative or accusative pronouns, you need to make sure to get on top of those ASAP so that you'll then be able to do the dative pronouns without any problems. And basically, a lot of the changes that happen in the pronouns are familiar. They're kind of the same things happening to all of the different pronouns. But so just like in English, I have ich is I, mich is me, the object, and if it's for me, mir. So our new dative pronouns, ich becomes mir, du becomes dir, for you. Sie formal becomes ihnen, for you formal. Er becomes ihm, for him. And you notice in English, we also have that exact same change of adding an M for he versus him. Sie becomes ihr, and that's for her. And in each case, just like the er and sie, because nouns in German are gendered, ihm and ihr can refer to a thing as well as to a person. Uns, us, that one's easy to remember because it looks almost the same as it does in English. And y'all, so for you guys, for you, for y'all, euch, same as in the accusative, and for them, ihnen, them. And basically, again, you have that whole chart in a much nicer layout in your textbook, and I strongly recommend you write it out for yourself with color coding and changes, and basically have flashcards that you can use to help you work your way through these. Basically, so let's put these into practice. So, ich kaufe meinem Bruder den Pulli. Ich kaufe meinem Bruder einen Pulli. Ich kaufe meinem Kind das Buch. Now, just like in the very first test and again on the midterm, you had to replace the subject with its pronoun. Here, you are replacing the indirect object with its pronoun. So, ich kaufe meinem Bruder den Pulli. I am buying the sweater for him. So, ihm replaces meinen Bruder, for him. Ich kaufe ihm einen Pulli. I am buying a sweater for him. Ich kaufe meinem Kind das Buch. Any guesses as far as what that would be? This is where the dative is easier. Masculine, neuter are the same. So we have Ich kaufe ihm das Buch. Ich kaufe ihm ein Buch. And so again, I am buying the child, it, a book. And ich kaufe meiner Schwester die Jacke. I'm buying the jacket for my sister. Ich kaufe ihr die Jacke. I'm buying the jacket for her. Ich kaufe ihr eine Jacke. I'm buying the jacket for a jacket for her. Und ich kaufe meinen Eltern die Schuhe. I'm buying shoes for my parents. Ich kaufe ihnen die Schuhe. I buy the shoes for them.